What is up, guys? How are we all doing? Welcome to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be giving a bit of thoughts and opinions, somewhat of a little review based on how I feel about Dead Island 2 through my experience so far, and kind of just go over those sort of nitty-gritty details, you know, for those people that are maybe considering purchasing this but is not quite sure. But I'll get into that straight away. I'm not going to bore you with what the game's about, and of course I'm not going to bore you with how many times this game has changed hands in development and all that sort of stuff, because we're all aware of the things which has gone on previously with the lead up and the release of this game. But essentially straight away, the main things that I'm going to get into are just a few core elements of the game which I really enjoy, and the things which I feel that they've massively improved upon from their previous titles. So, as we all know, the gore system is absolutely brutal. I feel that anybody that is a quick zombie slasher and you need that itch scratched, this game will definitely do that for you. And there's quite a few reasons as to why. Not only is the weapon system, I feel, a massive improvement from previous titles. It's definitely a darn sight better than what we experienced beforehand. Anybody that's played the previous Dead Islands will really appreciate what they've achieved here. Now, graphically the game is beautiful. There's not really much else to say about that. It runs amazingly, very well optimized, and I feel that that's quite a rarity these days with some games. They come out in such poor states, and for the life which this game has essentially had up until release, the doubts and the questions that we've all had, a lot of people thought that they just wanted to get this game out of the way. They wanted to finally get it off of their list, etc., and just be gone and done with it. But when I actually got my hands on it and I started to play it, I realised that wasn't the case at all. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but anybody that has played the previous titles will fully understand and appreciate what they've actually managed to achieve here. Now, the weapon gameplay, as you can see, it's very bare bones, it's very bog standard, but it's Dead Island. That's what we got to remember. It's Dead Island. The gun gameplay wasn't exactly brilliant in the previous two games either, but anybody that knows Dead Island understands that it's not about the gun gameplay. It's about the melee attacks, the weapons which you can modify, and the things which you can kind of get up to in and around Hell A, which I think is it's pretty cool nevertheless. Now, as from my time playing this, the story, it's not, of course it's not anything to kind of kick and scream about, but it does a very good job with kind of giving you a little bit of a backstory. And to be honest with you, even though the characters and the dialogue can be a bit cheesy and the jokes that are made can be a little bit cheesy, I think it's still a great experience. And like I say, anybody that is contemplating buying this game, I think you should do it. Now, obviously, I'm going to go over a few other pros and cons of this game, but I mean, graphically, it is just so beautiful. It is so beautiful, and what got me was the weapons, the attachments, the modifications that you can actually do within this game are insane. Now, not to mention the gore system. The gore system, everybody has seen it. It is just absolutely barbaric. But not only that, when you do get your hands on a weapon, especially the knuckle dusters, this is what I found. When you connect with your punches, it's almost as if you feel it. You feel it in a bizarre way. It's almost as if your punches are actually doing something, and that's what you want. You want that level of immersion You know, now of course there are different types of zombies around the map, you know, that have different characteristics, different traits, things that they're immune to. And to be fair, I don't need to really elaborate on that, because anybody that's played any of the other Dead Island games knows really what to expect. You know, that's what I mean. It's just one of those fun, gory games that you can kind of sit back, switch your mind off to, and you haven't really got to take it all too seriously. Now, I feel that a lot of people are heavily critical, based on, you know, the information which led up to the game, and maybe the people that have reviewed it haven't played the previous two. I mean, for me, this is a massive, massive step in the right direction. Now, of course, with their expansion passes and things like that, we don't really know what the future holds for this game, but for the core foundation that it has already, it has got a lot going for it. And I mean a lot going for it. You know, so it's a nice step. Now, of course, we've got characters, got a couple of characters to switch from, choose from, you know, and as you please, really. It's your preference to however you want to play it. There's no sort of real right way or wrong way. You know, we've got a skill system, you know, with cards and things. Feel like that was probably a little bit of a missed opportunity. So if we go into like the skills, you can see we've got different skill cards which we can acquire, etc., etc., and it's the same stuff, really. You know what to expect. They give you different perks, different attributes, things like that, which obviously benefit you from the game. Now, for the missing part, I feel, for the wasted opportunity there, is that you're going to find the collection of cards that you want primarily, and you're not going to switch through them. I think once you've got what you want, that's it. I feel like that's all you really need to worry about, you know. And needless to say, it's very basic, but it does a very good job of just keeping it simple. You know, sometimes games with skill trees and stuff, there's lots of, you know, extras that you don't want to miss out on. There's lots of things within that system which you kind of just, it can be a bit overwhelming. You know, Back 4 Blood, prime example. You know, and it's just, sometimes it's just a bit too much to take in. So, you know, for anybody that is, you know, considering buying it, you know, I'd absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. You know, there's not really much I can say that I don't like about this game. Now, there are obviously a few things which could be improved, but needless to say, they've done a fantastic job with what they've got so far, and I really look forward to seeing what they've got in store later down the line through this game's life cycle. Now, one thing I have to mention that, you know, really sort of concerned me in the early doors of you know, seeing this game was the fact that it's not open world. But rest assured, the different zones, the different areas that you go in, they are done so well, designed and planned out so well that you don't even realise that you're not in an open world. It's that well thought out, it's that well done that you almost feel as if you are already in an open world game. There is so much to uncover and so much to explore that I feel that if it was an open world game, you wouldn't necessarily explore all the nooks and crannies, you know, all the little alleyways and stuff. It'd just be impossible. And with the layout and the, you know, the design, essentially, you kind of know where you're going. You know what you're doing. Everything is within somewhat of an arm's reach. It doesn't feel boring or tedious or taskful of repeating the same objectives over and over again. You know, some of the houses look the same, but, you know, they're gonna, you know, but they've done a beautiful job with the interiors of the houses, the effects, everything. It just, to me, is just, it's just great. It is just great. And like I say, anybody that has played the previous two will appreciate what is actually going on here. Now, you know, we've got the weapon modifications as well. You can come up with some pretty crazy modifications which do and inflict some serious damage, and it feels as if, oh, I've got some keys there. It feels as if you're actually like swinging, you're making contact with the zombies, and of course you watch their flesh and everything fall off, you know, and stuff like that. You know, it's just a lot of fun to play. It is a lot of fun to play. I can't stress it enough, you know, how fun this game really is. You know, besides of course, you know, the cheesy story, you know, and some of the jokes that they crack and everything, like the writing. Maybe some people won't, you know, necessarily enjoy that element of it, but like I say, it's Dead Island, you know. And what gets it for me is that maybe, yes, it's not 10 or so years of development worth, but I find it oddly refreshing. It takes me back to the times where somewhat gaming was a little bit more simplistic, and instead of ramming a load of information in your face, it was more just about enjoying yourself and having fun, just causing as much chaos and havoc as you can. And of course, as you just witnessed, I've got an acid mod on, and you watch all their flesh melt away. It's insanely brutal. It is insanely brutal, you know. But graphically, it's very well optimized, runs very nicely. And of course, the gameplay mechanics just put the cherry on top of the cake, I think. You know, of course, there is the typical looting system, Dead Island stuff we're pretty much used to. You know what I mean? There's collectibles around the map. There's a few things that you can pick up, a few things that you can drop. Decent sort of inventory sizes. The variety of weapons. It definitely leaves a lot to be desired. Don't get me wrong, but for what we have as of right now, I think that it does a good job nevertheless. You know, with weapon modifications, upgrading, all that kind of stuff. Like I say, it is generic Dead Island, you know, but it's just got a splash of life, and it's a beautiful, vibrant place where you can run around and just cause absolute chaos, you know, zombie galore. And you know, for anybody that is a massive zombie fan and enjoys stuff like this, then I would highly recommend buying it. This is just my verdict on it. You know, this is just my verdict on it. I'm not going to bore you with, you know, oh, it's changed developers and this and that, and oh, I'm worried about that. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to tell you what is good about it and what's bad about it. And as far that I haven't found anything which I remotely find bad about the game. Generally, there could be a few improvements here and there to make the experience a little bit better. You know, a few more weapons, characters, that kind of stuff. But it's early doors. What we have is brilliant already, and I'm twitching to see what they managed to do, what they managed to pull off. You know, with the upcoming DLCs and things like that. You know, bit of a short video. You know, just to kind of give you sort of a general gist of essentially what the game has to offer. And of course, if you have any questions about it, feel free to drop it down in the comment section below. But yeah, I'll give you a little taster. I mean, with the zombies, it's absolutely crazy. You know, I'm going to do that. Golf club, madness. Baseball bat, amazing too. But you can literally watch their organs and everything. Like, you know what I mean? If you're a massive zombie slashing, just go out and wreak havoc fan, seeing stuff like this just adds to the immersion, I think. And when you're running around hacking, slashing, blowing stuff up in LA, you know, you're going to have an amazing time. I'm going to be very surprised if people that have played this, played the series, played, you know, the first one, Riptide. I'd be very surprised if you do not enjoy this game. You know, there's plenty more to come with this. I'm going to do a couple more videos here on the channel and kind of go over it in a little bit more detail. But like I say, just a little bit of a taster, just a sort of a general verdict, general sort of impression from my experience so far. You know, it's refreshing. It's a pleasant experience. You know, even down to these little details of these water barrels. You know, you get yourself like an electric mod. You know, you just hit that and it sparks up. You get different zombies with those barrels on their backs. Same thing with acid. oil, petrol, all that kind of stuff. You can have a real good time with this, and of course if you have friends to play it with, your experience will be heightened. It'll be even better. But I appreciate you guys watching the video. Thank you so much for your support. Like I say, if there's any questions that you may have, feel free to drop it down in the comment section below. But until next time guys, you'll take it easy, you'll stay safe, and hopefully I catch you all in the next one. Take it easy guys.